Good morning. Welcome to Monday Morning War. Today is Monday, the 4th of May. Everyone's talking today about getting back to normal. What things were like before March of 2020. And I understand. I completely understand that. But I'm thinking that maybe normal wasn't necessarily the best thing, and maybe there's a new normal coming up after this, and we can all do better in the new normal than we even did in the old normal. It's always nice to go back to your old ways, and it's like the expression I say that I hear all the time, and it always kind of grates at me is, well, that's the way we've always done it. That's not always the best way to do it, just because that's the way we've always done it. Just think about it, even in the last 20 years, what you're doing differently now than you did then. Here we are. I'm sitting in a park with a telephone making a video. Who could have thought of that 20 years ago? Back in 1985, I worked for a company called the Sharper Image in Washington, D.C., and they rolled out a telephone. It was wired, of course, that you were able to send an image back and forth. It came up on a 2-inch by 2-inch black and white screen, and it was a still image, but it transmitted over the existing telephone lines. And it was an amazing contraption. It cost over $1,000, and people bought it because they thought, well, this is the future. Wow, this is great. And here I am. I'm sitting out. I'm not even plugged into anything. I'm sitting out in a park on my walk, and I'm making a video and going to be able to share it with many people. It's just amazing what we're able to do. That's the old normal. What's the new normal hold for us? Well, we've learned a lot through this COVID-19 crisis. We've learned about how to prevent spreading germs. We've learned about face masks. I've got one here that I wear when I walk, make sure I don't get close to people. We've learned about testing. We've learned about the spread and the number of people that have passed on because of this. And all the tragedy, and yet some people are just want to go back to where it was. And yeah, we've learned how much it hurts the economy and the stock market and the jobs, the unemployment rate. Those are terrible things, but that's not, the real key is to fix the problem, not just work around it. If we say, well, the curve is flat and let's go back to work, that's kind of working around it. We'll say, let it play its course. Now let's fix this problem, and so we don't have to worry about it. Let's go forward after the COVID-19 pandemic and have things better, not just the same. Let's have a better life. Think about what we can do to make life better after COVID-19. People have already started doing a lot of things that they've never done before. A lot of people doing Zoom video conferencing. People realizing the power of communication face-to-face and or by a phone or a computer and or just calling up somebody and telling them you care. There's things that we can do. We've got the equipment. Most people have computers in their homes. We have the ability to do things. Let's use them. There's a lot of capabilities that we've got. This is the time to be innovative. Think about what we can do that'll be secure in a life where we're not also necessarily all huddled all together in groups of a large number of people. What is it we can do in that world? And is that world so terrible, or is it worth risking your life to get in a large group of people? You have to make that decision. It's a difficult time. There's a lot of politics in it. There's a lot of questions, a lot of challenges, but it's the time that we need maybe to regroup. We need to think about where we're going, how we're going to get there, and what we're going to do to get to that point that's going to make life better. That's what it's all about now. How can we make life better from this point on? What are we doing now? We've got time. Don't ever say you don't have time. Most people are sitting at home watching TV or Netflix or doing crossword puzzles or whatever you do. We've got time. We can make a difference. Make a difference. Think about those people in the hospitals. Think about the people working in the hospitals. Think about the people working in the food banks. Think about the people working in the grocery stores. They're making a lot of sacrifices for us. Let's make let's make this worth it for them. Have a great week. I'm looking forward to talking to you next week.